Welcome to the podcast for your spiritual growth.
Evolve,
Align,
and embrace.
I am Sophia.
And I'm Alex. Let's start.
Welcome to this episode. Today, Sophia and I talk about the heart chakra. We tell you how it feels to be imbalanced and how it feels to be open in the heart chakra. We share with you insights about our personal experience of how to balance it and how it feels when it's not balanced. So, let's start.
Welcome to today's podcast where we speak about the beautiful Anahata chakra, our heart center. My English is already gone a little bit now that I'm not in America. I think I say this every single time, or every chakra that we talk about. I'm like, I'm so excited to talk about this one. But this one is it kind of brings everything together. And it's at our heart center, obviously. And it's the quality of it, or the element, is air. And the color of it is green. And it's the quality of loving and giving and receiving and being compassionate. And it's what connects human beings.
You have been open somehow for yourself and for other beings around you, right? And that's openness can help to connect with each other through the heart.
Yeah, to connect truly.
Yes.
We know that when when we fall in love with someone, then first of all, like, maybe if you're not in it right now, but when you are in that, your heart is almost feels like it's so open that it hurts because it's so, there's so much energy here. And when you think about someone, or like when you think about someone that you love, you start to feel like sensations in your heart center, and that is your Anahata chakra speaking. And so psychological, it's about this loving, when it's balanced. It's about being loving and gentle and tolerant, and being able to accept each other and being able to accept yourself. And
Kindness, to be very forgiving, or to say, okay, I'm open for what I feel, I'm kind to myself and I'm kind to others, this kind of quality, right?
So it's seeing everyone as equal, almost like seeing yourself as equal with the others and loving everyone. That's kind of, the yogis. When somebody thinks of a yogi, I would say that they would think of a person who's very compassionate and who's very kind all the time. And that shows a balanced heart chakra.
Yes. Yeah, I also always think that it has a quality of innocence, because to be kind and gentle with yourself and each other is something that reminds me of children, how they're really open-hearted. And to be open-hearted and open for each other doesn't necessarily have anything to do with flirting and being sexual at all, not in the first place. And especially yogis have this base of, let's see each other as brother and sisters, and let's be open for each other as beings on earth that are super important and valuable.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, because being kind doesn't mean that you say yes to everything, right? It means that you are kind in the way that you communicate in a kind way, but that you still keep your boundaries strict, because that's also showing kindness to yourself, right? And when you talk about like the sexual aspect and somebody, you know, when a girl in her younger ages maybe wants to explore, or, you know, she wants to fill up her heart space, and I feel like that's, you know, a lot of young girls kind of search for themselves, and while during this process they might not be as kind to themselves, and they say yes because they think it's, you know, how we, I'm sorry, I'm like I'm going in circles right now. Let me articulate that better. So what I'm trying to say is that we are taught in a very young age to be kind, but often we are taught that being kind means to never say no.
Yeah. We as women usually, right?
Yes.
Kind, nice, a nice girl.
Yeah. So you have to be nice, a nice girl, as you say. And I think that there's a lot of misplacement of what is kind and what is actually appropriate. So for myself, I know that I used to have an imbalanced heart chakra, and that I would say yes to everything and everyone just because I was seeking that love.
Yes.
Instead of being very clear on where my end is, where my boundaries are. And I was looking for connection for a wrong reason, I would say.
Yeah, it's true. Also, sexually, it's possible to fill up each other's heart spaces through touching or intercourse or whatever. But it's always usually not very easy to really open up in the heart space for each other, or sometimes one person opens up in the heart space for the other person, and the other person is just wanting attention and fun and sexual energy out of this connection. And it could happen, maybe that's also what you were trying to say, that as a woman, also as a man or as a boy or as a girl, one is open in the heart and really would love to receive love from the other person, but then gets maybe used by the other person, or we can even say abused, or just not touched in the heart. That could happen. Yes. Yeah. Or in everyday life, we want to be part of the group. We seek love. We want to receive love, and we think, or we get taught to be nice and kind, and to not set too many boundaries and say no too much, so that we can actually get that love. And that usually doesn't fill up our heart space, because we give away power in that way. Too much.
Yeah,
a good point. Very nice story to explain how the heart chakra could feel or make us feel and act.
So we often, and I feel a lot when I work with my clients, they actually have a lot of work to do in the heart chakra. I think a lot of people nowadays have a lot of work to do here, not only because of our physical, like that it's physically closed off, because our heart chakra is in our chest. There's not one movement in our normal everyday life that opens the chest, that opens the heart. We are always forward. We're driving forward. We're typing forward. We're on our phones. We're always closed off. So like the opening, the back bends, the heart openers that we do in asanas, with asanas, that's something that like we need to do actively in order to open that up. And opening it physically is going to open it also energetically, and for us to be able to connect to it, right? And when I work with my clients, their heart chakra is often the first place where we start, because it's about connecting to your emotions. It's about being able to recognize what's going on. It's about feeling, and feeling is so, a lot of people just don't allow themselves to feel because it hurts sometimes.
I also actually a couple of weeks ago I did a chakra coaching with a yoga teacher, and she also realized that she was very on in the upper chakras, especially in the mind, in the third eye, but the lower chakras were very closed off or unbalanced. And the tendency is that we don't want to feel pain, and so we put our energy all up here in our brain to think about things and to go into the logical part of ourselves in order to understand the world or ourselves, instead of feeling the experience and feeling the stuff, the qualities, the energies that are actually also in our body, in order to let go of all those emotions after having felt them. Yeah. Yes. Very interesting. It's true. And also the heart is like a door into our system, into our, makes super duper sense that you start with working on the heart chakra first with your clients, because it is a door into our chakra system, because it's the connection between the lower and the higher chakras. It's the first 3 below the heart chakra and the last 3 above the heart chakra. And when we go through the door of our heart, compassion for ourselves, compassion for the world, really connecting to what's really close to our heart, then we can go from there to all the rest of the chakras and feel the energy and the qualities we have in there. Yeah, it's like a easy doorstep into this whole system of chakras.
Yeah, it's so powerful, because I love what you said, that it's the connection. I see it as that as well. I see it as kind of combining, it brings our humanness and the human being in us. It connects that with our spiritual being. So because the higher chakras are more about our connection to the higher consciousness, you could say, and the lowers are the connection to the world, to the earth, to, so it makes us whole, in the sense that we are both. We are humans, but we are also spiritual. And so it connects both, and there can be a lot of conflict in that. And that's why I think this one is so complex.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is super complex, because, when you say, my tummy says this, but my head says that, I feel like through compassion for both, in both parts of us, in our heart, we can work with both qualities and listen to both, or decide, okay, today I'm going to listen to my tummy, or I'm going to go with my gut, which usually is the better choice, but also honor the logical part of ourselves. And with an open heart, we can accept and tolerate that there are so many different qualities and opinions out there, and also in us. And we don't need to judge it all and decide to be just for one thing and to just stand for one thing. We can accept everything and find our balance in it every single day. And since the heart is physically the middle of the 7 chakras, I always see the first lower chakras as the animal chakras. You say the human chakras. I also see this animalistic quality in there. Like, I want food. I want to have sex and make babies. And this is me. I'm the boss. Those qualities, kind of, without a lot of thinking, just doing, just being that. And then the higher qualities of I want to eloquently talk about what I have to say, and this is my vision. I want to share that. And also, I know I'm spirit. I know it in my seventh chakra. I feel it. Those qualities are so different, but they belong to each other, and they yeah, it's beautiful to combine all of these qualities inside of us, and our heart can be open for that. And we can allow ourselves, for opening it, to be all of this, and to also let other people and beings be more than just one thing. Yeah, especially right now in those times where, with the corona pandemic situation in the world, there are so many different opinions in the world about that. Like, this one person says this is just a story, corona doesn't exist, and the other person says, Jesus Christ, we have to be careful, we have to take care of our older generations, we have to wear a mask, we should take it seriously, we should stay home more. And those two opinions can clash, and there's a high chance of people fighting against each other about that, and being non-tolerant to each other, towards each other. And I see that a lot, how people argue a lot and are becoming really aggressive and angry. And I really, really wish right now for all of us to open our hearts to different opinions about very very sensitive topics like that. Yeah, that's kind of what I see here.
I think so. Like, that's a good point. That's a really good example with corona, because that's a good example where we need to start to accept each other and each other's opinions, because we all have different backgrounds. We come from different stories, and those all affect the way we think about certain issues. And we're never going to all have the same opinion, but it's just about showing compassion and being like, oh, okay, you think that way, it's fine, like, I accept that, but maybe I don't think the same way, and that's okay, right?
Yes.
Just being okay with not always having the same opinion.
Yes.
And that's in any relationship. I think it's so important to accept the person that is in front of you rather than judge them for their opinions, but hear them, because that's what the openness itself can create, so much more awareness of also yourself. Why do you have that certain opinion? Like, some people just have an opinion but don't really know why and where it stems from. So just open yourself up and being open to receive other people's living ways of living can help us just come together so much.
Yeah, very much. Just see the whole human, because my friend said it the other day. I watch myself judging a whole person because of one opinion that concerns, for example, this whole COVID-19 topic. And he realized, oh man, I'm not being very open in my heart right now, because I forget that it's a human being. It's a whole person with a lot of different qualities, personalities, and skills, and I don't know, gifts that she can give to me. And because of one opinion that person has that doesn't match mine, I change my whole opinion about that whole person. And I realized that, and I have to go back into my heart and open it up again. I loved that.
Yeah, I have that's nice though, that your friend had that awareness.
Yeah.
But I sorry, I'm switching gears a little bit, because while you were speaking before, something came into my mind about when you mentioned this. We have thoughts like that we always make decisions out of either like being very practical, being very like thinking a lot, and then from our gut feeling, and switching like in not knowing where from which one we should choose. My mind says this, my gut says this, like my intuition says this, but my mind says that basically. And I just wanted to share, like the past weeks I had to make a decision, which was a really hard decision to make. And I think it was the first time in my life where I wasn't sure, where I couldn't, like I had to ask myself over and over and over and over again. And maybe there was also a lot of fear involved, and that's why I couldn't make a decision, a clear one. But I just wanted to share, kind of, for anyone that is listening and has trouble making a decision right now, that connecting, as we said, like connecting to the heart center is what will help you make that decision. Because basically what I did was I had a lot of my mind, and my mind switched back and forth, and then I had my intuition, but I wasn't, or like my gut feeling that you said, but it was really hard to connect to that because there was so much going on in my mind. And I think that's also a lot of, that's what I get asked a lot about, like, how do you even connect to your intuition, you know? But connecting to your heart center can tell you so much about what's really going on, and it can kind of lead you the way. And what I always do, on how I connect to my, like how I use that connection to my heart center, I would say, is that I sit with myself and I meditate, or you can just say sit in silence and get quiet, you know. And then I connect to my heart center, and I like go through the decision making and through the different scenarios, and just stick with one scenario, and then feel in my heart center, how does it feel? And then there are two options. There's either a feeling of like squeezing, contraction. It's almost like everything, it's almost like someone is like pushing you down and together. It's a very tightening feeling. Tightening would describe it best. And then there is a sensation of opening. It's expansion. It's kind of like you feel like, I want to take a deep breath and just like open up. And if you listen right now, I would really highly encourage you to try this out, because I can talk about this, but you have to experience it for yourself. And the opening up is a sign that that's the path, at least for now, right? In this very moment, that is the decision to make. And when you go through a scenario and you feel the tightening of your heart, then that's a sign that it doesn't serve you overall. Also, even if you might not like the answer. So that's a really, because I really, when I went through this decision making process, there were times where I didn't like the answer that I got from inside. And I had to come back and back, and I kept, like, my mind was coming with the negative thoughts, but still the feeling in my heart center was the same. So that gave me an indication that there's a lot of fear involved, that let's not talk about all of that, but still that there are other influences that keep me away, my subconscious that keeps me away from the path that I'm ought to take, kind of, because there's a lot of fear involved, or, you know. So I just wanted to share that, because connecting to your heart center can sound so broad, and having a specific way of how to connect to that, I think is so powerful, because I used to not know what it means to connect to my heart center, if people would say that. But the simple act of just putting your hands on your heart is like so powerful.
Yeah.
And you really can feel into what's going on right now, and you just feel.
Yes, fear has the quality of dragging you out of your body, out of your heart. And it's hard to go back into your heart when you have the fear coming. And it will always come in like, fear will always be there. It's part of our nature. And we can just be aware of, yeah, okay, stop. I know I have a couple of steps to do that can bring me back into my heart and give me the real answers. And even if I don't like them, I can just listen to them and just let them sit with it for a while and let them sink in for a couple of days. Yeah. And yeah, it's true. Relax. First of all, relax. Take a break from everything from the day and sink into deep, good, nice relaxation. And then feel into your heart. Second step, maybe put your hands on your heart or breathe into your chest so you can connect to your heart. Those are good ways of connecting to it. And then go in your third step into the scenario, like maybe into a future scenario that could occur when you make this one decision that you don't know if you should make, and see how you feel with that. See how your heart expands, maybe, or how it tightens up, how Sophia just explained.
Yeah.
This is something you can do to connect to your heart, especially when you have a question and when you're unsure. Yeah, cool. That's really cool. Thank you for the tools and for sharing that, especially explaining how it could feel.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
changed so much. I don't know when I first picked that up, but it really shifted my decision making, because now it's an internal process and not an external looking at facts, you know. And I think that's, yeah, you should always make your decisions out of your heart.
And if you don't know how the expansion or the squeezing feels before you go into this relaxation and heart meditation, you can also just sit here with us and think about a person you just really love, like a person, maybe a child or somebody who seems so innocently lovable to you, and then feel how you feel when you think about that person, and how your heart is so open for that person, and just connect to that feeling of openness in your heart. And then you can also, after doing this, think about a person where you at the moment struggle with the connection to that person, or where you've got hurt, or I don't know, something like that. It'll come up, and you will feel this tightness, a little bit more of tightness in your body, in your chest, maybe, when you think about that person. And then now that you've done that, you can maybe get a feeling of these two feelings that can give you answers, if you need them, in your chest.
Yeah, that's a good exercise to start with, definitely, to understand where you moving towards even. Yeah, that makes total sense, and that's really a practical way to feel into your heart center, and easy to do for anyone. Yeah.
Should we talk about the physical? Now we talked about a lot of energy and emotions, and what we can do energetically to connect to our heart, and how it feels when we're open and when we're closed up. Let's talk about the physical qualities in our body, like the biological ways of checking if we're open or closed off. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so to just jump to that. So physically, when you're open in your heart or balanced in your heart, you have good blood circulation, you can breathe well, because your lungs are also part of the heart chakra, and they kind of form around your heart. Plus your rib cage is like, I always think the rib cage is like a golden cage that takes care of the very valuable heart space. And if you can breathe well and have good blood circulation, generally feel healthy, eat enough veggies. Green food is very well connected to the heart chakra, the green heart chakra. Then it's all kind of balanced. And when it's not very balanced, then it could lead to heart and lung diseases, high blood pressure, and psychologically you could become bitter, heartless, and self-indulged, or tending to not feeling a lot, like closing up so you won't feel anything, really shut down the heart space that is for feeling. Yeah. Do you have anything to add? Yeah.
I think we touched on everything pretty much. One thing I wanted to say is that being balanced in your heart chakra doesn't only mean that you are kind and giving. It also means that you can receive love, and that you're able to, and I think we talked about this a little bit, like when we said it's about boundaries, but it's also about being able to accept compliments.
Yes.
Being able to receive help, ask for help when you need it, right? It's all about, I feel like the heart center is all about balance between our chakras, balance with giving and receiving, right? So it's the balance between relationships, that it's all on one level.
Yeah.
And then also being able to talk about certain things when they're not in balance, and being able to address that, because you are doing, if for example something is not serving, a relationship is not really serving you and is almost taking away from your energy, that you are able to address that in a kind manner, and not push it away because, oh, this is not, it's not kind to talk about this, or it's not good to talk about this. No, it is actually because it dissolves anything that doesn't have a good energy. So yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to add, that is, it's always about finding this balance. And yeah, I think that's
because it is an act of love to say, you're my friend, I really love you, and I have to tell you, I was disappointed because of this and that, or you're my friend, I really love you, but I don't like it when you eat the banana I bought yesterday. Because it's not about being friendly to your the people around you, but also to your space, your boundaries, yourself. So, and also to say that not in a hard and harsh way, but to be open enough for yourself and for the other person to take it on board, without being hurt and pushed away, because it's an act of love to be honest, and honest from the heart. Yes.
Yeah. And that's one thing I see also I have a couple clients who are mothers, and they are juggling everything, and the reason why they are not balanced in their heart chakra is because they think they need to give everything. They need to give their children everything. They need to give their husband, and there's nothing left for themselves. And then they get bitter, they get frustrated, they get angry, they get cut off from their emotions. The reason for that is because they are kind to the outside world, but they're not kind to themselves and to their inside world. So, and I think that's I see that everywhere. So I like to invite you who you are listening to really ask yourself if you are giving yourself enough of what you need, rather than always making sure that everyone around you has everything they need, because that's a beautiful thing to take care of everyone around you, but you need to take care of yourself first so you can be there for others in the future, and really from the heart, and not because you think you have to, but because you want to, and because you have so much in here that you want to give. Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, fill up your own glass before you pour away love of it to others. And yeah, on a daily basis, find out how you can give yourself love and compassion and credit. Totally, it's super important, and nobody teaches us that. Nobody in school tells you that when you do homework, when you want to be good in school, you also have to learn how to be good to yourself, so you have enough power to do all that work and to be a good student and good person. Nobody really teaches us that, because nobody got taught themselves before. So we don't have to be mad at each other because we didn't get taught. We just have to understand that there's not a lot of broad knowledge about self-love and nourishing yourself, making yourself a priority before you go out in the world or just at home and be there for other people. Yeah. So what can we do to nourish our heart and to open it up again?
That is very uniquely to everyone, but really it's very simple, actually, I think. What feels good is mostly what you need. Of course, we need to see that, sometimes we use substances to make us feel good, but what does actually feel good? That's like the question. And
what do you mean substances, for example? Like what could be the wrong?
Some people, alcohol, or like to make you feel open. People use substances to open up because it just opens that more easily. But it's more about what can we do to sit in the present and enjoy the present, I would say. Or yeah, so I don't know, for me a lot of it is either it's alone time, right? Alone time to fill yourself up and fill that with anything. It can be listening to music, it can be being in silence, it can be reading a book, it can be writing, meditation. It's like working with your being, and being able to listen to what you would like to do right now. And on the other side, so I feel it's again this balance of alone time and having people around you, connecting with others. For me, that is self-care, being able to have that balance of I'm nurturing myself, but I also need connection, because connection is also in a way self-care, because you have communication, you can talk about things that are important to you, you can share experiences, and all of that leads to filling up your cup as well. So that
heart connections, right? People around you who really are connected to you inside of the heart, and not in another chakra like solar plexus, or just work-wise or intellectually, but where you can talk about and share with something that really matters to you, like a topic that's very present right now, or children, or something that you both love to do, like a hobby. Yeah. That's the kind of, for me, that's the kind of connection that really helps me be present with myself, fill me up, and where I know it fills the other person up as well. Right? Yeah. And true, I have the same thing, to be by myself and to make sure to create a space where I can be in the present with myself and with everything that I have and that I bring into the present, and to not judge it. Like, it's so amazing and fulfilling to accept emotions, thoughts, and not to judge them, like, oh my God, why am I in a bad mood? To not do that, but to just be that, what you are, or be just happy and allow yourself to be happy. Through working out, going for a walk, listening to music, writing, meditating, you can practice very well to just be and allow your being to show up with everything that's going on right now.
To move through emotions and move through what is coming through, because it's all flowing, shifting,
ever changing. So in yoga, we can also, when we want to connect to our heart space, to emotions, and open ourselves up for that, do lots of exercises, like you just said at the very beginning of this podcast episode. The cobras, upward looking dogs,
heart opening, a lot of heart opening
asanas,
practices. We just engage the back body and open the chest, and that's also like good posture. A lot of, when I work with yoga clients, and then working on posture often means working on your shoulders, because they come in, and that really misaligns your whole posture. So working with those heart openers is going to help you really get a nice straight posture. And that is, when you have that open posture, that means that you also meet life and with an openness, and meet the people with an openness. And so you can also, now next days, today, when you go out, notice how the postures of people, and notice how their postures make you already assume certain things about them. That's really interesting. Once you start, and I did that in acting, we did different characters, and we walked like different characters, and that made me understand that our posture says so much about our character. The way we walk says so much about our characters. And when we have a little bit more awareness about that, we can not only kind of shift ourselves into a posture in which how we want to feel, how we want to be seen, how we want to live, but we can also almost read other people a little bit more. But I don't know, that's like another big other theme and topic. But I just wanted to kind of bring that in, as you said right now, like the opening. Yeah, that's really interesting. So the simple act of rolling your shoulders back and down is an opening of your heart, and you can do that anytime, anywhere. And notice how often you have to do that during the day in order to be open. But
also notice where you want to close off, where you want to protect your heart, but don't judge it. Like, it's okay And also notice how much you close up from yourself, maybe also, and how you could decide to, okay, I'm going to open up my chest and push and move it a little bit more to the front, so I can be open for myself right now. Maybe just at home. Maybe I can now go outside, go for a walk on the street, and go into a store and see how it feels to be open like this out there. And just, experiment a little bit with your posture and how it makes you feel. That's nice. I love that. Something else?
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, with food, I heard that people in the Philippines, they eat a lot of green food. And in Germany, we tend to eat more carbohydrates and meat than veggies. Just when we compare those two countries, to be very drastic in the comparison. And if you want to nourish your heart space, you can eat a lot of plant-based food, a lot of greens, because every food that has the same color of the chakra is supporting that chakra. And that can already help giving energy to that space and supporting that space more and more. Yeah, that's something you can do. It's a little bit abstract, but it's something I really want to add. And then I also wanted to say the heart space is really super important, and one can decide to be more aware of that, because there were measurements taken of energetical signs that you sent out from your body. I think it's even electric measurements that were taken, and it was found out that the signs that a brain is sending out is going around 1.5 meters around your body. So this is how far the brain waves are sent out from your system, and you can connect through those sent out waves to other people and other beings. But the heart space is also sending out vibrations, and they go out and around your body, I think 3 to 5 meters. So it's much stronger. The waves that are coming from your heart are much stronger. And those measurements are showing how strong it is, and how much more aware we could allow ourselves to be of the heart space, because our heart is carrying our true desires for our life in it. And if we follow it more, we could eventually lead ourselves more to a fulfilling life, and find out what's making us really happy. And sometimes those heartful wishes and those desires and all those things that are in our heart, and that if we listen to it, lead us to the situations that are really making us happy, can be so different from what we think will make us happy. Simple example, maybe I think, oh, when I have that car, that really good looking brand new car, then I will be happy. Because I got taught from my outside world that I focus more on that those kind of things, materialistic things, could support me in my happiness. But if I decide to tune into my heart and see where I feel the expansion, Sophia, that you just explained a couple of minutes ago, or the tightness, I might be led to its totally different truth that will make me happy eventually, for sure though. And yeah, I really would love for each and every one of us to be more open to those desires that are in our heart, because they are there anyways, and they're stronger than our perception of the outside world and of our brain and everything anyways. And we could make our life so much more easier if we decide to to tune in more, to listen to that, to find out what it is that makes us happy and that our heart really wants, in order to find more peace in ourselves and to find our place in the world and to find out what really makes us happy, so that we have harmony in our lives and can help other people to be more harmonic with themselves and with each other. Yeah, that's what I really, really, really wish for. Yeah.
And with that comes again the acceptance part.
Yeah.
Then we have to accept that things
Yeah.
don't always go the way we thought it would or want. And also allowing yourself to be sad about that. And to let it out, let the emotions attached to that desire that is actually not really what you want come out, like crying, being able to release that, let it go, let go or be dragged. Because it's otherwise, if we can't let that go, and if we're holding on to that so tight because we think this is the answer. My whole life I thought this is what I want, and now I don't want it, and just holding on to it because it used to be your desire is gonna, it takes you away from your peace that you just talked about. So allowing yourself to feel sorrow and to feel to feel what comes up when things change and when you decide to follow your true path, or really what makes you really happy other than what you thought would make you happy. So again, feeling the hard part about being human, but what makes us human is feeling.
When you have an open heart and you follow it and you learn, you go in a uni or you go into a class with an open heart, with this openness, you also learn much more and much easier. Children usually have a really open heart chakra, right? They cry really easily and really quickly, then they stop and laugh and are happy really, really fast again, and they switch really, really a lot because they do let those emotions come and go, and they're really airy and open in that chakra, and they're not hurt and behaving yet because they didn't get hurt yet and might decide to close up a little bit more in order to protect one self more. And so it's so amazing to find things that open your heart up, that you want to learn, that you want to be part of, and then be in that space that is connected to your heart, because then you can let it in much more easier. New information, things, skills you want to learn, you want to take on board. That's something I wanted to add too. Yes, I don't even know what to say. I think I said everything I really want to share with you guys. What about you, Sophia?
I did too.
Yeah.
Hope you took something away, and maybe you could relate to some of the things we talked about, and we would love to hear from you. If you did, you can DM us on Instagram and just let us know if you listened to this episode, if you have any more questions of how to work with it, or we would just love to connect to you. And also we would highly appreciate a rating, so let us know how you like it through giving us some stars here on what is it, Apple?
Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts
or Spotify. I don't know if you can, but that would be amazing. And I would say until next time.
Yes, have a lovely day or night, and thanks for listening. Thanks for spending time with us. And yeah, we're here for you for any kind of question, for any kind of heart story that you wanted to share with us. And yeah, lots of love to you. Take good care of yourself.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, where we talked about the importance of connecting to your heart center, your Anahata chakra, and how to do so, how to live and lead from the heart center. We would appreciate a review, and also connect to us on Instagram through Embrace Your Weirdness Coaching or Sophia Di Lola. And until next time, namaste.